Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing the Hachseg's learning of the Pele Yoetz, day number 251, and a one-day chapter called Halacha, Jewish Law. Rabbi said in Chazal teach us, Miyayim Shechar Beis HaMikdash, from the day that the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Ein lo la'kadosh baruch hu ba'olama, Hashem has no place in His world. Ela arba amay shel halacha, except for the 4 cubits of halacha. You want to know where to find Hashem in this world? You'll find Him in halacha. Va'amru, like it says, Oyev Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves Sha'arim HaMitzuyonim ba'halacha, those gates that are replete and excel in halacha. V'yesh b'zeh shnei panim, there's 2 ways to understand this statement. Shneim ka'achas toivim, and together they are both very good. Ha'echad u'limud halacha, one is learning the halacha itself. Dainu Gemara, you learn Gemara. Bepilpul lahakshais u'lataretz, you have to learn with deep analysis to ask questions u'mataretz and to answer them. Al zeh amru, like it says in the Gemara, Gemara ein lecha midah toivim mena, there's nothing greater than learning Gemara. Shebemakom lefalpel al shar svarim v'divrei achronim yoiser tov lefalpel v'Gemara. You could pick up the Sefer, a book of an achroin, someone that was already went through some of these sugis himself. You could pick up the book of other mefarshim, other commentators, to see what they have to say, and then you could be mefalpel, you could analyze deeply what they say. But no, says the Pele Yoetz, better that you should pick up a Gemara and go to the sugya, the shakavatariya, the back and forth, the Rashi, the Taisus, the Rishonim, figure everything out. That's where a person should put their brain power. Shal yidei akushos v'tirutzim, through your questions and the answers, hu mevara kash min hateven, you will be mevar, you will clarify the chaff from the tevin, from the straw. Umikashir esakala, you will adorn the kala, kuf, lamid, hey. Ois halacha, which is halacha, by learning stark and learning seriously and going into pilpul, to intense and deep analysis, you will take hakala, you'll adorn the kala, which means you will arrive at the halacha, at the proper psak, the proper law. And this is what it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu rejoices in the pilpul, in the analysis that Klal Yisrael does down here when they are learning very deeply. Any Talmid Chacham who sits and he learns, for that's his job. He has to have time every day that he sets aside. Lilmoid halacha achas, to learn at least one halacha. Bepilpul atzam, with tremendous analysis. Kifi koicha, according to his koich, according to his mind. The Vilna Gaon once got locked in a sugi in Shas for 3 days. They said his face began turning green. He had towels wrapped around his head that were moist so that his head would not basically explode. And he didn't know what to do. He couldn't get the pshat in the Gemara. Came Rav Chaim Volozhin, his faithful Talmud. He says, Rav Chaim, tell me the pshat in this Gemara. And he said, if you don't know the pshat, Rebbe, how am I supposed to know the pshat? And he said, Rav Chaim, tell me the pshat in the Gemara. And Rav Chaim Volozhin begins reading the Gemara, and he read one word with a different nuance than the way the Vilna Gaon thought that it was. And immediately he got the pshat in the Gemara, and he pulled off the towel from his head. Quick, bring me food and drink. He had not eaten and drank in 3 days because he was so in this koyach of mayach, the power that he had to think and to delve into. That's what he did. So every person, not that we're going to be a Vilna Gaon even close, but every person should expend and strain themselves in the energy to be able to learn the Torah in the proper way. And therefore he writes, fine. If you don't have the abilities to learn that deep and with that kind of analysis in the Gemara, then at least read the works of our Meforshim who have gone through all of this themselves and try to understand what they're saying. There's another way to understand that the Mitzuyanim Halacha, the gates that are well versed and that are replete and excel in halacha. They work hard to get the halacha l'maisa, the actual truth. He's saying one pshat in halacha is you get a clarity in the Gemara. The other pshat in halacha is you get a clarity in what is the actual halacha, emes la'amito, the true halacha. Gam zetoy me'od levar l'seiki didini, and your person should do everything they can to clarify the doubtful psakim and the doubtful ideas that are there. V'yadua shesifrei hashalos etshuvos shoisim b'chol dor v'dorim hayulon la'inayim. It's known that all of the works that are questions and answers of the great poskim of those generations, they are lights to our eyes, so that they are like our eyes. Hayulonu le'inayim, they are to us eyes, so we can see what the halacha is. V'lo ya'alman Yisrael, the Jewish people we are not abandoned. V'roi l'chol mi shechanu Hashem, das, anyone that Hashem has given you das, understanding and knowledge. She'yivar adin, to clarify a judgment. She'nichnas b'lebeis hasafik, that has come into the house of doubt. You're not sure what it is. You know how to be able to clarify the point. And you can look deeply into the Gemara and the halachic authorities. Until the light will shine forth. In the proper place, you'll understand what the halach is. It'll be as clean as a white simla, as a white garment over here, which means you'll get a tremendous clarity. And that's your chaylik going to be in the Torah. And you should write down in a sefer. What's the halacha, lamaisa, v'lo ya'arev meleches, hashita meleches, hatshuva. Don't start confusing the reader by putting in your whole back and forth how you arrived at this point, because they're going to get sidetracked in that, and they won't be able to understand perhaps what the halacha is in the day. So make it concise, says the Pele Yoetz, so that the reader can understand. This will be a great benefit to the generations that come in the future. Nevertheless, even when you read that sefer that somebody else wrote, and they bring you a psak halacha, they bring you what they call the emes lamito, the true law, you should not take their words lightly, meaning that you should make sure that you cross-examine and you analyze and you go through it, because it's possible, says the Pele Yoetz, everybody is crooked to a certain extent the way they think, and it's possible they'll make an error, they'll make a mistake. So just because you see a sefer written by a major Talmud Chacham, it must be that it's true, you're allowed to think about it. You're allowed to go through the sugya yourself. You're allowed to decide if that's the emes lamit or not. There are certain laws, halachas, that are like gigantic mountains hanging on a thread, on a hair's breadth. If one little change, one little different understanding could change the whole din, the whole judgment itself. And therefore you should try to compare judgments to each other. You got to skip. All those that judge disputes, that judge the differences in the writings, they have to be very sharp to understand the depth of that judgment. You should be medamas, you should compare one psak halacha to the other one case to the other case. And you have to daven for mercy that Hashem should show you the true understanding of that halacha. Shalokim yechunenu chachma v'das. Hashem is the one that graces a person with wisdom, with knowledge, and with understanding. So, says the Pele Yoetz, learn in the right way, and when you do that, be'ez Hashem, you'll arrive at clarity, and that clarity is, like it says in the Gemara, that from the day that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the Rebbe has no place to go, only in the Dalet Amos of Halacha, and that's where you'll find Hashem, and that's where Hashem is going to find you. All the best.